So how was your dinner? Most of you are in bed. I tucked you in bed after the long live feed, didn't I? I have more ice water. So we're here to have a story. And the nice thing about having a story is that I can talk to you and I don't have to put my glasses on to read your comments, although that's one of the most fun things about Alive. Anyhow, I love you all, and I had a great time with you this afternoon, and I hope you're having sweet dreams right now. So anyhow, let's get to the story, why don't we? And for those of you that have never been to my channel before, my name is Sunny, and it's nice to meet you. I hope that you enjoy today's story time. Well, this goes way back to probably when my daughter was about 15. And we didn't have, our car had gotten so old and it was no good anymore. So we were taking the bus everywhere. The bus stop was right in front of our apartment building. And at that time, the bus passes monthly were not too expensive. And so we'd get bus passes and we'd ride the bus everywhere. Anybody that's been to Oahu knows the bus system's pretty good. And so I was still very heavy like I am now. And I'd have to go to the grocery store, and having bad arthritis in my hips, it was quite a challenge. And you were only allowed to bring a certain size bag on the bus. It had to be either able to sit on your lap or tucked under your chair. So almost on a daily, I would ride the bus out, and I would go and make a transfer once I got into Honolulu, and I would ride the bus to the Navy commissary, because that was the easiest one to get to. It had a bus line next to it. But there still was a lot of walking involved because the bus stop over by the Navy was kind of far from the commissary. So I'd have to walk up the hill, dragging what I usually took a suitcase, the size suitcase that was allowed on the bus. And I would get my groceries, and I would pile them in the suitcase, and back I'd go, wheeling the suitcase behind me, and go to the bus stop, take a bus down to downtown Honolulu. Usually a very packed out bus, and it was very challenging, the bus ride. But I did it. Then when I got home, I'd have to get the big heavy suitcase down off the bus steps and wheel it back to my house, and then there was coming up the steps, which probably wouldn't have been bad if I hadn't gone through such a grueling day of bringing groceries home. But I would be tired. It would be like 5 in the afternoon, and I'd need to get upstairs and get busy cooking, because my husband would be coming home on the bus, and he'd be home within about an hour. So this continued on for years. Now I had, wow, I just now noticed, sorry, my hair is like, it just now grabbed my attention. And so yeah, this went on, and I didn't grumble, and I kind of had enough already. I guess it was like, maybe we had been doing this for a year, and it was really taking a toll on me. But I didn't grumble to anybody. None of my neighbors knew. You know, I was always my cheery self coming up the steps, and always full of gratitude for what I did have, because I'm so aware that what we do have is way more important than what we don't have. So at any rate, I had gotten it in my head that I wanted a big van, and I wanted a cargo van. I wanted no seats in the back, and I wanted it to be really long. and I started writing down my wish list. So I put on there that I wanted it to be about 3 to 5 years old is all. No body damage from accidents, etc. Good working mechanical order. I wanted it to be white, and then I remember putting in parentheses, not off-white, but nice, clean, bright white light, white. So I wrote down all the things I wanted. I was very specific, and this was my wish list. And I even said I don't want to pay any more than $5,000 for it. Oh, I had put in there low mileage. So I kind of came to a conclusion that is what my heart's desire was. That's what I really wanted for an automobile. And I was clear. My focus was clear. And I kind of just put it out there, and I said, okay, Lord, or higher power, whatever you want to refer to as your understanding of someone that's watching out over you. I said, this is what I really, really, really want to have come into my life to make our lives better. And so I kind of just forgot about it after that. I put it out there, and I really believed that one day it would happen. I didn't know how. It didn't make sense because, let's face it, a van that is only 3 to 5 years old with low mileage, no problems in the body or the mechanical. I think I even put on there that the tires had to be good, which they were. Oh, excuse me, don't let me spoil the story. Should I erase that? Yeah, we'll leave it in. So anyhow, time came and time went, and I still stayed with a smile slapped on my face, you know, like every other day, every third day, going this whole trip to go to the commissary and get groceries. And sometimes if groceries were close by that were not a huge price difference from the military, I would go ahead and get them here, but it still was always a hassle. Sometimes my friends would pick me up at the commissary and bring me home, and that was wonderful. But I tried not to do it too much because you just don't want to take advantage of your friends' generosity too much, or they'll start to feel like they're taken for granted, right? So anyhow, time went on, and over here we have this thing called the Midweek, and it's a little free newspaper, and they have small little articles about this, that, and the other thing, and some advertisements. And we live on a specific street here, and it's really funny because I had finished looking at the Midweek, and I wasn't even looking in the automobile ads. I never looked in the automobile ads. For some reason, I never felt compelled to look in the automobile ads. So I would just read the newspaper, see the recipes and what's happening down at the Neil Blaisdell Center this weekend, and yada, yada, yada. Well, I'm sitting there at the dining room table, and I just slapped the last page over to shut it, and I was going to fold it in half and throw it in the rubbish. And I glanced down, and there was a great big ad on the back page for the auto dealership down the street from us, 1 block down my street. And here it said, white cargo van, and it told the year, and that fell into my time frame that I had put. And just the white cargo van, I looked at that and I thought, okay, this is kind of weird. It's the right age. So I kept reading, and everything looked good, and I got to the price, and it was $4,995. $5 less than what I said I wanted to pay for that. Now, Dennis's boss has bought many vehicles for the company, and when he saw it, he could not believe that I was able to buy a van for $5,000 that was low mileage, working great, body perfect, no rust, no dents. It looked almost like it was new. And he said, wow, that thing is probably worth about $15,000. Well, I just walked down there and talked story to him a little bit and filled in some paperwork, and I drove it home that night. The point is, when we get our focus, and I have to really emphasize this because I truly believe that no matter what your belief system is, the universe cannot work at all to bring something to you if you have your brain so scattered that you're not clear really what it is you want. So once I got my focus on exactly what it was that I wanted, and I put it down on paper to help me really solidify in my mind, I could see in my mind's eye that van that I wanted. Then the cogs started turning, and then the universe, God, or whatever you want to call it, magic, blessings. All I know is once you get focused and you do everything that you can do, which is what I was doing by using the bus, we were able to save some money. And that was able to be a down payment, and my payments were super low. I think like $175 or something like that. And I paid it off early, actually. So what I want to say is, when we want to have something in our life, I really believe that if we get our focus clear and we have our intentions on what it is that we want, and be careful when you're writing down things, be very specific, because it could be brought to you exactly as your list has it, but you forgot and left something crucial out, and oopsie. I really believe that when you're doing what you can do after you've gotten your focus, then the wheels and the cogs start moving together, and everything starts to align itself to the point where this can actually come and manifest in your life. And I have had that kind of experience many times, and this was a beautiful experience. And I have to say that the next day when I drove my husband to work and I drove home and I came over that hill from Kalaheo High School and going down the Kaneohe Bay Drive towards Kaneohe, and I saw the bay laid out there and the sun was streaming through a cloud coming down in a ray, I broke into tears, and I cried and cried and cried, happy, blessed gratitude tears. And I said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for loving me enough to send this beautiful gift to me. Thank you. I feel so overwhelmingly loved and taken care of. And I have to say that that's been my experience a lot when it comes to transportation. So when we were talking in the live chat and I said that I couldn't tell what my very first best present was ever, I wouldn't say it was that one. I would say that it's the next one. Okay, years down the road, we had driven that van very hard. It was very old, and it finally threw a rod. And this was long, long, long after it had been paid for. It had been well enjoyed. It had served its purpose. It was just done. Its life was over, and went back to being a bus rider. And this went on for a little while, and I never really felt compelled to make a choice of what kind of vehicle I needed next. And I didn't make a list. I just was letting it be. And I was waiting until organically I came up with, I wasn't trying to, struggle, oh, what should I be thinking about? And, oh, what's the pros and cons of the different vehicles? And what would, I wasn't doing any of that. I was just allowing life to be. And one day I heard this knock on my door, and I went, and it was Janet, who lived next door to me. She was approaching 80, I think. And she looked really concerned, and she said, "Sonny, I have to ask you something, but I hope I don't embarrass you or make you feel bad, and I hope you don't, I just don't want to embarrass you." I said, "You're not going to embarrass or hurt me, or, just say it outright. What is it?" And she goes, "Well, would you mind? Would it be okay? Can I give you my car?" She had an old white car, and come to find out, she had been praying silently, just in herself, for a new car, because this car that she had, that she wanted to give to me, it had some pukas somewhere. And this was the year that we had 40 days and 40 nights of nonstop rain. You can Google it, you'll find the year. I don't remember what year it was, but this was that year. And so her whole trunk was flooded. There was water about this deep in her floorboard in the thing. And she says, I'm too old. I just can't cope with all this water in my car. And I can't really afford to buy a new one. And I just was praying silently and being happy that I had a car. But she says, all of a sudden, my son's wife decided to quit her job and homeschool the kids. And they have too many cars. And so instead of selling one, she wanted to take one of her nice ones and give it to me. So she said, so my prayers were answered. And I said to God, I said, since you answered my prayer, whose prayer could I answer? And she said, God showed me in my mind's eye your face and you pulling your bag of groceries up that I had seen you bring down off the bus. And she said, so I'd really like to give you my car, if that's okay. And I cried so hard, and I hugged her, and I said, thank you so much. And it was such a beautiful gift. Such a beautiful gift. And the water really wasn't a problem. We got the water all scooped out and dried out in spite of the fact that it was still raining. And what happened is I bought a great big huge tarp, and anytime I would come back home for the end of the day, I would make sure the inside and the trunk was all baled out and dry. I would stretch the tarp over, and then I had a bunch of bungee cords that I had bought, and I would stretch them over, and I would hook them every which way. There'd probably be like 20 bungees keeping the tarp down. So I was able to take it off and drive it around, and then come back and put the bungee cords over the thing again. And we made it through the 40 days and 40 nights of rain. But it's then when you know that you don't have to always struggle. You can sometimes relax. Just take a deep breath and let God, let the universe your higher self, whatever you believe in. Let that help you manifest what you need in your life. But you have to do what you can do to prepare for it. Always treat people good. That's the first step that you never will be sorry about. So anyhow, I love you very much. I'm sorry that I went over. I was trying to aim for 15 minutes and it's 20. But I hope that you had a great story time. And I hope that you can glean from this some ideas for maybe how to manifest things that you really need in your life right now. That you can take some time and really think hard about what would serve you to be your best version of yourself. And maybe you have to write it down on paper. Maybe you just have to surrender it to your higher self or your higher power or whatever it is your belief system is. But trust that you are loved, that there is something bigger out there than you. You are loved by that something bigger, and that what you need will be provided. Just believe, just have faith. Relax and be thankful that it's on its way. Okay, love you. I hope that you manifest some wonderful things to help you be the best you can be, and to bless other people in your life, okay? Because that's what it's about. Lord knows that after I got that van, I carted so many teenagers back and forth from school and stuff like that. And I helped other people too, so with the vehicles. So yeah, always be a good steward of whatever is given to you and be a blessing to others. Bye. Love you so much.